Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Cities Skylines, and welcome back to Dorchester. I certainly hope you're having a fantastic day whenever and wherever you happen to be, because I am excited to be back right here in the city center, where there have been some changes since the last episode. I spent about 5 hours working on one teeny tiny little thing that wound up being really tedious, and that I restarted 1 or 2 times, and that really shouldn't have taken 5 hours, and I want to show you exactly what that is. And then today, we're hopefully just going to grow the population a lot. That's kind of my goal at the minute. I've done a lot of design stuff recently. I want to see if we can maybe get the population up, because I really want to build an airport. I'm not gonna lie. So where there was once empty space around City Hall, we now have a little farmer's market, which I think looks absolutely adorable. I absolutely love this. I'm using a couple of different props to make this happen. Obviously, we did see some tents at one point in one of the episodes, and I thought to myself, I've got to use those. But I went to the Steam Workshop and I got a few other things as well. I got these kind of little stands. I got little props for people standing around. I went ahead and also got some little tables and stuff to put in there. And I'm so pleased with how this turned out. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It's obviously very bright, very vibrant, maybe a little bit too bright and too vibrant, but I don't mind too much. I think it just looks the part. And then right here in front of City Hall, we have some construction going on, because of course we do. I've been to a lot of different cities across the UK, and generally speaking, right in front of City Hall or very close to City Hall, you're gonna see some construction work. I don't know what it is, but I've been in Glasgow, Edinburgh, Belfast. I've been to London, Manchester. I've been to Bath. I've been here, there, and everywhere, and there's always construction really close to City Hall. So I wanted to do the same thing. It's been a long time since I've put a construction site anywhere. That's obviously not the most luxurious looking one or the most detailed one, but I just thought it was a perfect little change of pace compared to the very bright, very vibrant market we have going on. I also didn't know what to put in that corner, and I still don't know what to put in this corner, but I thought that looked the part, so that's why we have some construction going on there. Down this way, I just decided to fill this in with a normal plaza. I used Move It to move it back a little bit. We got some dirt paths going through there so people will actually walk on it. And that's about it. We did some curves, and that's all I used to fill in that space. I am noticing, though, I just want to go in here and just fix that right there to try and get, I want to try and make sure there's not any concrete where there shouldn't be. That bit there is going to need concrete because that's the dirt path, but there's a little bit in there that's bugging me. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's the plaza doing that or what it is. Can I, there we go, that fixed it. And then at this end as well, we have a little bit of concrete showing. I just want to make sure that there's no concrete where there, you know, the trees are. So that'll do that job. I think we could actually just do grass in there if we really wanted to, which I think would look a lot better. So let's just do grass in all of that space with maybe a little bit of dirt sort of around the trees. No, let's just do grass in there. That looks all right. So that's a little plaza just in front of City Hall as well, and I just think it looks nice. I did change out some of the paths as well, all of the paths, and I did put some fences around there and all that good stuff. I like it. I think it looks the part. We do need to finish detailing this. We do need to do some other things with it, but that's not the only change I made. I went ahead and built some buildings, I guess, built some buildings. All right. Down here as well, which I'm noticing is not necessarily following the European theme that we have going on. So let me just fix that really quick, because it absolutely should be. We do want to make sure they are European buildings down on this little road here. And this is nothing too fancy. It's just a little road with some houses so that we can have them right on the water, so I can have some fancy trees along it, and so we have something near the gherkin here, which, by the way, moved this around a little bit as well. Just flattened it out, put some parking lots in front of it. Nothing too fancy, but I just wanted to make sure it had a bit of a footprint going on. Other than that, I think that is pretty much everything that has changed, if I'm totally honest. I can't really think of anything else that I've done, so let's just go ahead and get into a bit of building. Obviously, traffic's still a big problem, and we're gonna get to that. It's not the end of the world. I think I've talked about it more than enough at this point. We're gonna get there. But what I want to do is I want to go to move it. I want to use the marquee tool, and I want to select all of the trees right along here. So all of those, and I want to delete them. And I want to delete them for what I think is a good reason. I also need to grab all the props as well. So all of those, delete. We clear out that entire space, and I want to go in here with a 4-lane, small 4-lane road. Off of this spot right here, I want to keep this on the ground. I want to use a bit of road anarchy and bring it right out to, let's see here. Let's go to about that spot. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some zoning in here. And we're going to continue this straight through to this side over here, but I want it to line up properly. So we want to go from this place over to, let's see, can I get this to go under nicely? Oh, that doesn't actually line up at all. Interesting. So we want to go from here to, ooh, is it going to let me? I want it to line up here because I want the zoning in here to be pretty nice, if I'm honest. So we want it to go there as well. Obviously doesn't line up perfectly, but that's probably all right. Not really the end of the world. I think what we could actually do is 179.6. You know what? We'll just keep this going in a nice straight line there. Doesn't matter if the zoning's not completely perfect. I will make it work. But what I want to do is I want to put a bit more hotel space into this little area in here. I want to get some offices up here, and I want to try and surround that bit of highway because I think it'll look really cool. Then down here, all we really need to do is, I wonder if I could just, I want to ever so slightly adjust this. Just let me do this because the zoning's really bugging me. I want it to go in a nice straight line to there. That's better. Gonna need to level out some of the terrain, but that's fine. We can do that in just a second. Everything's kind of going at different heights, which I guess is fine as well. Maybe we do, no, we'll not do a straight slope there. We don't need a straight slope there. The idea is though, I want hotels in here. I want some hotels in here, and I want to try and do some commercial in there as well. And then over in this area, if possible, I want to try and get some residential. So we're probably going to move that monorail around just a little bit to try and neaten it up so I can get some good residential in there. And then at that point, it's just going to be a case of doing a lot of detailing around the edges of this island, because we still need to do the campus, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, I did change a little bit. I added a couple more buildings too. I still don't really know long-term plans with this campus. The whole idea of using, that massive chunk of island for just the campus might not have been an amazing idea, but that's whatever. That's something we can deal with later on. That's future Dylan's problem. So let's smooth all this out. Let's go ahead and smooth all of this out so I can get some good zoning in here, so we can get some hotels in here and just get building, because I've been doing a lot of talking, not a lot of building. Let's fix that. So we upgrade this so we get some good zoning. We update this so we get some good zoning. And then all we need to do is throw a couple of normal roads in there. And I do want to try and get zoning to go right alongside the avenues, because I think that's going to look really cool. I think having the zoning right alongside the avenues is going to make it really interesting, coming over these bridges and just being surrounded by towers. I think that'll be awesome. So we'll do the same on this side as well, up to about there. And I think, honestly, we're just going to go across here with some pretty boring roads. It's not going to be anything too luxurious, because it's just going to be hotels and commercial and all that kind of stuff. So nothing, extremely fancy, which is, fine by me. So something a little bit like that, and then maybe something a little bit like that as well. So that'll give us a little bit of space in there. We can do some kind of park or something. I got a tweet recently from a viewer of this series that mentioned that they've never seen anyone that quite enjoys building parks and city skylines as much as I do. And it got me thinking about what is it with parks? Like, what is my thing with building parks and city skylines? And I think it's something I've talked about before, and I can't remember the exact word. Again, I've had this exact problem before, but I can't remember the exact name of the thing. But I guess the way to describe it is just the contrast, essentially. There is a term for it, but the contrast between, for example, I don't know. We need a good look at this. For example, here, right? You have these giant buildings. It's like Central Park in New York. You've got these giant buildings, these massive, monolithic, monstrous concrete and steel and glass and neon structures, right? You've got that. And it's imposing. And then you've got that multiplied by 100 for that whole space. And then in the shadow of those, not literally, but, you know, in the shadow of those, you've just got trees and plants and grass and paths and open space for people to sit and listen to some birds that might live in this forest. I love that. There's something really poetic and, like, beautiful about that. Just the contrast between, you know, this amazing accomplishment of human genius and engineering and ability, right? And I'm not trying to sound like pretentious here. I'm being completely genuine with you. This is what it is. It's amazing. Obviously, it's just a game, right? But it's something I see in the real world. It's like Central Park in New York. You have these amazing, incredible, unbelievable feats of engineering that we've got so used to that we don't look at them as being unbelievable feats of engineering. But skyscrapers and towers are amazing. They really are. So when you combine that with, you know, these areas that are just full of trees and nature and natural beauty, I think there's something really just inherently beautiful about that, you know? And I'm not trying to be like pretentious. I'm not trying to say like, you know, my city skyline stuff is artsy. It's not that, because it's not, right? It's not. I'm just playing a game. But in the real world, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's this really amazing, just these amazing feats of engineering and something we take for granted. And then when you pair that with something that is literally the opposite, just nature itself, there's something beautiful about that. There's a story to it, you know? You've got that little escape from the monolithic structures in the form of a little park. And a little park's harmless, you know? There's nothing to it. There's nothing necessarily spectacular about just a little park. You know, you don't think about how good it's going to be to get away to that little park until you're kind of in there and you're like, oh, this is nice. This is relaxing. I like this. So that's kind of what it is. I just think there's something really beautiful about that contrast. And again, I can't remember there is a specific word I'm thinking of that I cannot remember for the life of me, and it's going to bug me. But that's what it is. I think it's just a really beautiful contrast. I think it's really cool, and I think it's a really interesting thing to design around in City Skylines itself. So that's what it is. That's why I really like building parks in this game, because it's like in the real world we have such a drive forward, right? And I'm not going to try and get all like environmentalist on you here. You know, I have my thoughts about the environment. You know, I'm personally in the court of let's try and protect the thing, because once it's gone, it's gone. But like, you see so many people striving for greatness with these new towers and these new housing areas and all this stuff, right? And then the more we build, the more we lose this little connection, right? So I think having that little connection to nature inside of your city I think it's kind of beautiful. I really like that. So that is why, you know, I'll stop this rant at this point. But that's why I really like doing parks in City Skylines. I think there's something really beautiful about it. And if you do a good looking park in a really dense urban area, the contrast just makes it even more interesting. So that's my genuine answer. I don't, you know, I didn't mean to get all sort of philosophical and I don't, you know, hopefully I didn't come across as preachy there, but that is the genuine answer of why I really enjoy parks in this game. I just think there's something inherently beautiful about the contrast. Anyway, what I'm doing here is trying to get just a nice little waterfront going. You know, I say that we need to do this, that, and the other for the environment and whatnot, and then here we are, just going ahead and changing out the waterfront is what we're doing. Can I grab you right there and grab that section of key as well, please? There we go. So we'll grab you and then raise all of that up to that height as well. That might be a little bit too low. the bridge there. We might need to fix that. Where's the node for this section of quay? There it is. So let's just level it all to there and then bring all of that down a little bit. So bring it down to, I'm going to say about there is probably a good height. So down to about there should be fine. I'm thinking this end as well could maybe be slightly adjusted. Maybe it just goes to the same height as that bit of road, which it already is. And this bit over here is fine. So that's totally fine. We're getting our giant towers in here, which is exactly what we wanted. We've got that view of this road going straight across between the buildings, which I adore. And hopefully this little connection down here will help some of the traffic in this area. Hopefully. We'll certainly see if that ends up being the case. But what I want to do is go in here and say all of this is going to be filled with hotels as well, which is maybe not going to be the most amazing thing. I want to do some offices though. So I want to do some offices like along here and maybe there as well, just to be a bit of a change of pace. And then the rest of this is going to be hotels as well. And we'll come back in here when it's, actually, no, I was going to say we'll come back in here when it's built and put some paths in. I'm going to do the paths now because when it's built, we're going to be demolishing buildings and it doesn't really make sense to be doing it that way. So let's do this. Let's see here. Can we just get you to extend into there? There we go. So we'll do this. We'll do this as well, and that'll give us a connection sort of around everything. We can do this as well as a connection out to the avenue there. And then that will be, you know, a nice little way through all of that space. I'm thinking what we do is, let's see here. Let's do this spot. And let's do this kind of thing, so you can go around whatever building ends up in that space, which I think will be kind of a useful thing. And I think what we're also going to do is bring a path along like this, so you can get into, you know, that whole space over there as well. And then we just have room for some trees and some good stuff in this space back here. So let's go ahead and just really quickly, I'm not going to do anything super fancy, but I just want to get a couple of trees back here to just make the area a little bit nicer. So I want one of these guys because I absolutely adore those. I adore that color. I really do. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So let's get one on that corner. Let's get one there as well. And then let's go in with, I don't know, something with a bit of size to it. Something with a bit of height to it. That's a little bit too small. That's maybe a decent little size. So we'll do one of those. We'll do one. Let's see. We don't, that tree might end up getting overwritten by some buildings. Let's do just over here, I guess, right? We have some room between all these buildings. I really should probably just let them build so I can see where my trees need to go. But we'll do this kind of thing, just sort of dot them in there. We can do some stuff over here as well, just to, again, just add a little bit of nature, a little bit of color. Maybe we add something like that, which maybe doesn't make sense to have a bright yellow tree in there, but I'm going to do it. I just think it looks, again, a little bit interesting, a little bit of color, and it just, you know, we're suspending disbelief, right? We're suspending disbelief for a beautiful little natural area is what we're doing. So there we go. That'll be fine for the time being. Once the buildings go up, we can do some more detail in there. But we already have people using these paths, which is fantastic news. This road here is already a bit less busy, which is also fantastic news. This road over here is probably going to be a little bit more busy, but it connects out to an important area of the city, so I think that's okay. And I'm also thinking that it might be kind of interesting to change the way buses work here, because we could actually have this white bus line come down over here, which I think we're going to do. So let me go ahead and add a stop just there, I think, so that the buses can nicely loop around that space. I think that'll be a good thing to do. So the buses can actually come over into that part of the touristy area, and people can actually go ahead and, you know, get off a bus here, walk around the corner, get a bus here, and go into the city that way if that's a thing that they want to do. So I think that'll be pretty cool. I think that'll be a nice waterfront. That'll be more touristy buildings, which I think is going to be really important, especially since I do still want to put a bunch of unique buildings in here. I've also, ooh, God, that traffic though. I've also totally forgotten about this park here. I still need to do something with that. I really need to do something with that. We'll come back to it though, because I want to change these monorails before I get, you know, too carried away with detailing parks. And what I want to do with these monorails is get them going in a bit of a straight line, basically. So right now they have that angle that they're following. What I want to do with them is have them come out of here. You know, they're already going in a nice straight line there. But I want to go to monorail. I want to get you. I want to make sure it is 6 meters going to 9 meters. I want a nice straight slope for this. Going to, let's say, about there. Should probably turn off prop and tree anarchy to do this as well, because it's going to start getting a little bit weird if we don't. So bulldoze you. And we'll actually have this stay at 6 meters, because I think 9 meters might end up being a bit too high. So 6 meters across to there. And we are going to bring this straight through, is what we're going to do. So straight through all that space, nice and parallel to that main road. And then I wonder if this is going to be a decent little curve here. I'm hoping it is. So that comes out to about there. What is that? So that's 28 by 29. That's not bad. That is about on par. So if we keep the straight slope there, that is perfect. Honestly, I think maybe move that tree because it's ever so slightly clipping through it, but that is absolutely perfect. It starts getting quite steep quite suddenly, but yeah, I'm actually quite okay with that. That is, oh wow, those trees though. We're going to be bulldozing those anyway. We're going to be zoning in here. That's why I wanted to move this, because we are going to be zoning this space. And what we can also do is go ahead and grab the one-way, connect it to, you know, about there. And then we just want to grab the segment and give it a little bit of a curve, something kind of like that, and rotate it. And that'll be the way into the university campus. And if I remember right, we only have trains going in there and then back out. I don't think we have any trains going to the university campus from the city itself. So we should probably try and fix that, actually. Let's do a node just right here as well. Let's turn off bending for a second. And let's just have that go. I mean, what distance is this roughly? That's about 8 units. So 8 units would be about there. So something like that. And then on this side, we want to go from about here. Like this. And probably like this. And obviously that's going to sort of conflict with some buildings and stuff like that, but that's fine. That's okay. Let's just move these segments as best we can. So you're going to go to there, and you need to be, I guess, going in as well. And then these two bits come out. So they go in on, actually, no. I don't want to do that. Actually, no, I do. I realize I do, because if I have, I could do two-way. What side of the monorail track are the trains on? They're on the left side. Okay. So let's actually change this around. You're going to go that way. You're going to go... Oh, but you would need to cross over. See, that does complicate things. Okay, we're just going to keep it this way. This side goes in, this side comes out. We're not going to overdo it. So you bend around a bit like that. You bend around a bit like that. And that'll be all right. So that's a way in, that's a way out. The monorail should be nice and happy. And what I think I'm going to do is actually say that this blue line is going to go out there as well. So it's going to have an extra stop added to it where it goes out to the university campus as well. That way you can get to the university campus from the city itself here and this side over here, and everyone should be happy. And the good news is that's put us in a spot where, you know, obviously we are, you know, getting rid of some buildings in there, but we have a bit more space to work with in terms of zoning this area. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of the trees and the props in this space, and I want to delete every single one of them. And we're going to just build a beautiful little residential area in there. So that's all gone. I did just hear a ding, ding, ding. Was that the campus? What is it looking like? So it's recognized at the minute. Do we... I feel like we've already put everything in here. I did mention I've changed the campus a little bit. I'm pretty sure we've already got everything in there that, yeah. So there's a lot more to unlock. We actually... Oh. Okay. So we could put a police academy in here. We don't really have the room for it. We might want to do that in a minute. I want to do this area first, though, because residential demand is up there a little bit. So getting that dealt with is probably going to be a good idea. Let's see what we can do with it. I'm thinking that first and foremost, I want road guidelines. I'm thinking that we're going to want to try and build kind of close to the highway. Not sure how good of an idea that's necessarily going to be, but we're going to try it. We'll turn off guidelines as well, and we're going to go right up to there. And that's elevated. That's not quite right. That's not quite what I wanted. I don't want it to be elevated. So grab all of you and lower to that height. And then lower you to that height. And lower you to that height. There we go. So that's nicely lowered. What I'm thinking, though, is that from this spot here, I might be able to get a nice little curve. Yeah, we totally can. So a nice little curve going around there. Obviously, it might be having some trouble being elevated and all that, but it follows the highway exactly the way I'd want it to. We can lower all this to be, you know, exactly the heights we need it to be. So you and you get lowered to there. And that looks all right. So that nicely follows the highway. I do think there should probably be trees on there. Just so that, you know, it's a little bit of a sound barrier. And then maybe some bushes. Maybe we do a wall or something as well. I don't know. They maybe don't want to be looking at the highway. But to get out there, I think we're just going to do a little road like this. And obviously we're creating a four-way junction there. I'm not a huge fan of those, but I think we'll manage. And I'm also thinking that straight slopes might be giving us a bit of trouble here. Let me smooth this area just ever so slightly, because the straight slopes that we're using are cutting into it quite a bit. So decent sized brush, just do this. I know I said I wasn't going to do too much terraforming, but I mean, the slope still exists. It's just a little bit less steep, so we'll not stress too much. So that's a little bit better. Then in the middle of that, I'm kind of thinking we could try and use these roads, because I've not used them yet, and they are very nice roads, but the zoning it will get weird on them is the thing. You know, it'll give us a really nice look. Actually, no, this isn't even going to be an old town, so let's just use modern-ish looking roads. We'll do these. It is going to be a residential area, so we'll do... Let's see here. We'll actually do this. I want to do this, and I want to turn collisions back on, because we want to make sure that everything updates in the area. So you go to there. And that means we can have some zoning alongside the monorail tracks. It's getting a little bit weird there, but that's all right. And we'll do the same here. Up to about that spot. And that'll give us, I guess we're probably going to want to put some offices or commercial in there, but that's not the end of the world. This can honestly run straight out to there, I think. That seems okay. That'll give us, again, a good bit of zoning alongside the monorail tracks. I think maybe we want to do like a little curve here, though. So let's see if we can do that. It's not the best curve that I've ever done, but I think it's okay. We just move the segment about or something. I don't know. It's not great, is it? It's not a great curve. Maybe a straight section of road that we then turn into a curve would be a better bet. That's arguably better. I don't know if I'd say it is better, but it's arguably there. It's yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not gonna lie. Let's let's just try and make that, you know, back to what it was there. So road guidelines from here just to there. And then I guess that just ends up being a dead end road. That's fine. I think that being a dead end is totally fine. I would really like to get zoning in there, though, because I do want to try and keep zoning alongside the monorail. So that's fine. It's not luxurious. It's not super fancy. It does have a bit of empty space there, but again, that's okay. That'll work. That'll be fine. Let's go ahead and do some offices. So in those spaces, and then the rest of this is just going to be residential. That's what we've got demand for. I did say that I wanted to try and increase the population today, which, you know, when you say that out loud, actually, you know, can I rephrase that? Can I take, it's too late to take that back, isn't it? I've made it weird. I'm just it's, you know, it's one of those sentences, you say it out loud and then you hear it. You know what I mean? Like you say it and then you hear it and then you're like, oh dear. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. If you don't get it, don't think too hard about it, because you don't, it just, you know what, moving on. It doesn't matter. We got some piping in there already. We should see this area build up kind of nicely. I imagine traffic in this area is probably going to get a bit weird. So let's do a quick correction on the lane management there. And hopefully we'll see some good things. It's not a super dense area, so hopefully it won't be too crazy, but you know, it'll boost the population a little bit. That's all we're looking for. This area down here though, I'm so pleased with this. I know it's so simple, but I'm so pleased with it. I really am. This area in here as well. I wonder if it would be worth bringing that key the whole way down to like here and then filling in that space too. I don't know what I'd fill that space in with, and I'm just noticing that traffic is about as bad as it's ever been here, which is fair enough. I mean, again, we're going to deal with this eventually. I don't know. I don't really know what we do here. I feel like, I mean, a lot of it's trying to get through to the industry. I know for a fact a lot of that traffic is trying to get through to industry, and it does clear out, credit to it. It does, you know, it's because the time traffic lights have such a long cycle on them that it's, you know, it doesn't clear out all that much. Let me modify those. So if I go ahead and stop the time traffic lights, I did make some changes. For example, so this here, state 2 is the one when this road gets to go. What I'm thinking is that we edit state 2 to make the maximum time 120 seconds, and we move the sensitivity to 0.3 so that maybe more traffic gets to go there. So it'll maybe clear out when it needs to. And then I think what we do, so this, what states this? So that's the pedestrians go. That is, that road on the left goes. That is the road at the top goes. Let's have this one go up to 80 seconds and bring the sensitivity to let's do 0.6 there. And actually let's move you to 0.4. And we'll see what that does for the sensitivity. So that's the pedestrians going. And then this road gets to go. And it can be anywhere from like 30 seconds to 2 minutes on that particular state. And it will hopefully be based on traffic flow. So at the minute, there we go. So there we go. The traffic couldn't get through, so it stopped. Now this one on the left gets to go for, 20 seconds. And then it stops. Now this one gets to go for up to 80 seconds based on the flow of traffic, which thus far is still pretty good. And it actually skipped straight through. Okay. So this one here, I guess is going to have trouble. I think what we need to do, to be totally honest, and this is something I discussed this in the live stream when we were designing the adorable little market there. I think what I need to do is set up time traffic lights for this junction, for basically everything along here. So this one, because we want to stop pedestrians from being able to cross at certain times. This one, and this one, and also this one. Reason being, a lot of this traffic wants to go to the industrial area. So if we were to set it so that traffic has, even down here, green light here, you can go. Green light here, you can keep going. Green light here, keep going. Green light here, keep going left. Green light here, keep going left. Green light here, keep going straight on. And then when that's, basically we have a state where all of those traffic lights would be red. So that's when pedestrians can move. That might be a way to do it, because pedestrians crossing is, I think, admittedly, I've disabled it for these junctions. Yeah, so pedestrians can't actually cross there, but they can still cross there, which is causing some issues. So I'm going to be, I think, a little bit cheeky here, actually. And I'm going to say pedestrians can cross there, and then they can't cross there. Because this bit backs up from time to time, but that's not the problem area. Now doing that will let pedestrians cross at this section of road and this section of road. but not there, so that won't interfere too much with traffic, hopefully. Now, that's a lot of people going that way. And then that's a lot of people queuing up to cross over, but that's all right. Basically, we just need to... We do just need to improve, you know, the general flow in this area. We will get to that. It's going to happen. In terms of population, we still have a lot of demand, which is a little bit frustrating, but this area is built, so we do need to keep building. All right. I think this area down here could be... Well, I say that, you know, do we still have any low density left around here? I don't think we do. We have some low density commercial, but I don't think we have any low density residential left, which is probably for the best. I kind of want to redesign this entire space at some point. I want to leave the sunken highway, but I do want to redesign all of this at some point. Well, I say that. Mostly this side here. This side on the left's fine, but this side just has no character to it. It's just a big square. So we're going to come back and do that. In terms of residential zoning, though, we have this space along the river. We have this space along the river. I think we fill all that in with residential. I think we bring quays around all of that. I think this entire island is probably going to end up surrounded by quays, which is fair enough, but I don't know. I've just had a bit of an idea. I mentioned it before. What if we were to do, so a ferry depot, right? But then we do ferry stops like here and then down here and then over here and around. So we could literally have, instead of doing like a metro or a train that goes around this entire island, we could literally do boats. I think that would be kind of cool, but I think we're going to need the space for it first, and I think we're going to need to do some keys. So let's get in there and clear out some more trees is what we're going to do. So trees and props. We don't want nodes and segments. We go in and grab these. We go in, we grab all of those. We delete them. I do want to put some of those little, these little plants down here. I want to put them back in along here, but while I'm building, I don't really want them there. So let's see what we can do. Let's take you out and let's get ourselves a key. We want it to be in a curve. We want it to start about there and basically want it to do that. That's maybe a little too much. Let's see. So we want it to line up there. Is that a little better? That's a little better. Maybe instead we start on this side and go like this. So it kind of, yeah, that looks a bit better. Let's do that. So that's pretty solid. It is not a bad curve at all. It's nicely sloped as well. I think it sort of dips in the middle, but that's fine. So that's gonna give us a little bit of space to build in here. And I think in here is honestly just gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be pretty boring. It's not gonna be anything luxurious at all. It's just gonna be a road that goes in like that and up to there. Or maybe not. We'll do it from this road instead. We'll do it from up here. So like, let's see, turn off guidelines, grids turned off. We'll go to there, basically. And I think we could go ahead and put houses on that. I don't think that would be a bad idea at all. So just a couple of little houses down there. We have some people living on this side as well. And then I guess what we also do is, you know, commercial in that space. Offices maybe in that space. And then, yeah, we'll just do some houses down here. It's not going to be the best place to live. You're right next to, you know, a very, very busy set of commercial buildings. We're right next to hotels. You're probably not going to be thrilled to live there, but it's a little bit more residential, so that's all that really counts. It just boosts the population, which we do need to do. We need to get the population up to 44,000 to get another tile. After that, it's 65,000, which is a little bit crazy. So we do have some work to do there. I'm still kind of hell-bent on getting an airport out here. You know, looking at it, I could just build a bunch of housing in here and put the airport there. Like right on the water. That might not be a bad idea, doing the airport that way. That genuinely might not be a bad idea. We'll see. What I am going to do, though, is actually bring this key over to here as well. We'll keep, let's see, straight slope is reset. This right here is going to go to right there. And we're probably going to want to go ahead and just, you know, re-level some of this. But the reason I wanted to do this is because I don't think we're going to build in this bit of land anyway. So I don't think it's going to be the worst thing in the world to actually have this. Let's see, there's a node right there. I don't think it's going to be the worst thing in the world to have a bit of key along there as well. And then we can just keep that bit of, you know, that forested area right there, which I think, again, would look kind of cool. Especially right next to all of the hotels and all that stuff. So let's level you to that height, which you are. I do think that looks quite nice. I would like to put some paths in there, though, just looking at it. So these trees here can go. In fact, let's see if we can just use Move It to grab all of the trees and props that are on the left side of that key. So all the way down like that. Delete all of them. Because what we can actually do is go in there with just a little bit of path. We don't need the, oh, we are probably going to want grid snapping, but that's not going to work that close to a key. So we're going to try and do this without grid snapping. And basically, we want to go like this. So that'll let people walk across. And we want to go like this, which will let people walk across on this side as well. So that'll be good. And then, if I really wanted to, I could put some small trees on that little bit of land there. But that might look kind of silly next to those giant trees, but I kind of want to try it. I do kind of want to try it. So let's see. Let's see if I can find the tree that I used just over... Where are we looking? Where are we looking? Right here. So if I can find those, I think those are kind of perfect for that little front space. So what are you? You're not quite right. What are you? That's a very nice looking tree. I'll give it that. That's a very nice, adorable little tree, but it's not the one I want. You're definitely not right either. We could do pencil pines. Oh, you know what? Pencil pines might not look bad over there next to these guys. Let's give it a shot. Let's give that a shot with just the good old line tool. We want to make sure anarchy's on. We want to start about there. And essentially, we're going to run it down to about there. So what does that look like? For one, they're too close together. We want a bit more spacing on them. Maybe not quite that much, but something like that, spacing-wise, is pretty good. I do kind of like that. And they are a very similar color to the trees that are behind them. So I think we're going to go for it. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll do the pencil pines there. And, yeah, similar color to the other ones, obviously intentionally planted. Maybe we take the giant trees out of there and put some other ones in, but I kind of like that. And I think, honestly, we're going to do the same thing just in here as well. So starting about there, going to about there. Are they... Yeah, they're too close together. Let's go ahead and adjust that as well. So we want them to be about that far apart, looks right to me. And I guess we could do the same up to the buildings on this side as well. So up to about there. And I like that. I actually like that a lot. I think it's a nice way to just sort of have, again, a little bit of nature along an otherwise really busy road. Especially with like the bridges coming over and all that stuff. It's kind of cool looking. So that absolutely works for me. This area in here is building as well. The population's mostly dead at the minute, which is great. The good news on the population being mostly dead, at the very least, is that I don't need to worry too much about growing it right now. I don't need to get more zoning, because what's going to happen is all of the abandoned buildings, because of the death, will need to be repopulated. And we're going to be very careful talking about repopulating anything, aren't we? But that's beside the point. Either way, I think I want to go ahead and I think I want to start building out here. I'm not going to lie. I think building out here would be a pretty good idea. I really want to get the airport. I really do. And to do that, I think it was what? It was 65,000, I think. So airport is, yeah, 65,000. So we need 30... about 30,000 more people, 29,000 more people. So we've got a bit of, we've got a bit of work to do. But the good news is this whole island, I feel, is coming together really nicely. So I think next time what we're going to do is we're going to get the police academy and the campus. We're going to try building another little suburb out here. I think I'm going to try tearing off a little bit of this industry. Just a little bit of it. In fact, you know what? I want to do that right now. Just very quickly. I want to take that out. I want to take those roads out. So they're forced to use these bridges, right? But then what I also want to do is... Ooh, hello. Hold on a minute. Let's just reconnect that power. But what I also want to do is I want to get like a green belt, as it were. I want to get some trees kind of coming around here to block the industry from this new little suburb we're going to do out here. And I think we also might try and get some suburbs up in the hills. I might try and get some people living up that way. I don't know. If I had, you know, I could do out here as well. I keep forgetting that we have all this space out here to play with too. Like we could get some suburbs just in this valley, which would be beautiful. So maybe the plan is going to be, and I want your opinion on this. Maybe the plan is going to be tear down a lot of this place, right? Let's try and bring a highway sort of around it, build some more city that follows this coastline over here, have the airport here, and then on this side of the highway, do more suburbs. Because I'm looking at this valley and I'm thinking you should come around here. And obviously if we turn off depth of field real quick, you come around here and I want it to be, you know, you see way off in the distance, these real tall buildings, right? But this whole space out here should be suburbs. It should be a highway. Like I want to bring a road through this valley at some point, and I want it to be surrounded by suburbs and trees and forests. I want it to go straight into the city. I want it to have off-ramps into the suburbs. But I feel like this whole area out here should be suburbs and farmland and all that kind of stuff. I think this looks really cool, but I think it'll look even better if this just massive boring density wasn't right here. So I think that's what we're going to do. And that means we have a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm really excited to get started with it. I think we're going to end up with a really cool looking city here with Dorchester. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for today, though. Thank you so much for watching. It's been my absolute pleasure. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.